Hey, and I'm not going to be doing squats. I just fancied doing a live that wasn't about my 100 squats a day in August. And for those that are wondering what I'm talking about, because you've only just caught this live, I'm doing that for accountability. However, because I was meant to be doing these days... Oh, look at that. The moment I put my hand on the heart, it came back. I don't know how much it paused for you, but it was saying reconnecting due to poor wireless connection. So anyway, I thought while we've got signal, I wanted to pull a couple of cards for anyone that watches the replay and randomly pick some qigong poses and tell you a little bit about them. I'll stick to the book, or maybe I'll pick one. I've got my book there. Maybe it's back up a little bit of a comfort zone from my Bible, qigong Bible. And maybe I'll just tell you about the one that I like to tell everyone about, that I think everyone should know how to reset their nervous system. So if you're someone that's highly stressed and you have a stressful job, or you just find people a little bit like when you're around people you're triggered and your nervous system lights up, like when you're anything like that makes you go like that, well, and I'll do that at the end. But let's pull a card for those that are either watching with come on live or from the replay. I thought I used to do this all the time on Instagram. I haven't done it so much on Instagram. I've certainly obviously been doing it on YouTube for ages, but that one feels right. Giving birth. Ooh, right. I am bringing forth new and dynamic energy into the world. Actually, that fits perfectly with the other thing that I wanted to talk about. So I'll just, let's rewind it back because you can't hear my thoughts as such. So this is the beautiful image. She's in a little bit of a bubble there. The new moon, and the new moon's coming. New moons, for those of you who don't follow those sorts of cyclical ways of living, we associate it with planting seeds of intention. And if you're not, in a less esoteric language, you could just say it's about focusing your goals from one end of the spectrum. I'm much more into the esoteric, seeding the energies and birthing them into the world, and that's what this is about. In Chinese medicine, in traditional Chinese medicine, in qigong covers, we talk about Jin energy. Jin English creation energy. It's what births babies in balance, with masculine and feminine energy, but it's also what's birthing things into the world, what we manifest, what we create, and it kind of comes into that. This is, I am bringing forth new and dynamic energy into the world. This is about how is the movement, the changes in your life right now, how is that changing the things around you? We're all going through metamorphosis, collectively, globally, that you see it everywhere you look, and you can either focus in and hone in on the good stuff. And I'll say now, because coming up next week, in the report I'd said about undercurrents, or don't get, what was the wording I put? I think I said it in one of my other lives. Don't get caught in the riptide of the subconscious of these triggers and how they might be affecting you, how you might be affecting you, might be affected by others that are around you, and how they're affecting, and how that bouncing off of this bubble of energies and people's different energies, and how they're kind of bashing up against. But like a riptide, like on a surfer, talking surfer, not that I'm a surfer, but feeling into that kind of water sense of, you want to be on top of the waves, not drowning in all of those energies, all those emotions, all those thought patterns, and being overwhelmed. You want to be birthing forth new dynamic energies into the world. How do we do that? We give birth, and we are birthing. One of the things, and how I'm going to link this up with what I need to say about the qigong. So here's a little example on a personal note. I'd had this conversation. I think energetically, lots of us hold our energy around our waist, especially women. And in terms of like the 3D world, this is where stress hormones, if you hold weight there, it's to do with stress and hormones traditionally. It's also energetically where we hold in where we're kind of putting a protective bubble around. And the people I know that have it that weight, they're either really highly stressed, or there is kind of an energetical wall, possibly around their heart, that's kind of manifest also in the belly. Now you might think, yeah, but actually realistically it's because they eat this, blah, 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 blah. But what I've noticed in my own body, in my own experience, is when I'm working with the creative energy, with this beautiful orange coloured energy, and these thoughts, processes, things are flowing in, and I'm writing all this stuff down and I want to birth them into the world. But I get this little protective bubble bursts in a way, on an energetical sense. On a physical sense, there's this need to ground, and a lot of us, they might eat their feelings, they might eat comfort foods. We tend to eat our emotions a lot of the time, whether we're aware or not, and being drawn to stuff. I tended to eat to ground. Junk, because of its frequency, would be what I would be, for me it was vegan junk and sugar. So again, that would, on the physical, puts the physical level, but on a mental level, on the brain, and on these patterns that I'd unravelled in my own understanding of myself, that's what was happening around the times I'm wanting to birth these ideas or birth these things. So we have this sense of, and we call it, it's even got a spiritual term, Buddha belly, when you've got that kind of wholesome wanting to birth. Now, how I want to bring this into more of a 3D conversation here, if you like, for want of a better word, I'm like messing with you when I say that, the peanut gallery sort of stuff. I don't want to offend anyone, but I'm just sort of saying, let's bring it into something that we can relate to, is what I'm meaning. And my husband had been saying to me, people, whether they're aware of it or not, and maybe I'll do a bigger video on this because it's quite a big conversation, but I just want to touch on this in here. Whether you're aware of it or not, people will look at you if you are saying to the world you're a qigong trainer, if you like, an exercise guide. And I was like, I don't really think of myself as that, maybe. An energy movement person is more of the way I would put it into the box, but people want to put things into boxes. I've noticed in going to coffee mornings and business morning, sort of publicising and marketing myself and what I do, people like to put it into box. It's not necessarily because they're trying to put you into a box, but because our brains as mammals put things into categories. That's just a natural thing. And so to remember someone, you want to associate that person with that thing. And we'd had this conversation, obviously, if I'm associating or becoming associated as a qigong trainer, one, I need to educate people a lot of the time what qigong is. And I tend to say Chinese yoga, though there are more and more people that are aware of energy medicine, and it's basically energy work. So it covers reflexology, it covers meridian lines, it covers energy, our field, Chinese medicine. It's the whole shebang basically, and it takes years and years and years to become a master. So I don't even profess to be a master. I am learning and constantly learning, and will continue to learn for the rest of my life. It's I get excited about everything that it entails. But you want to sit with my mum? Come and sit with mummy. Come on in, because your towel's in the way. All right, you stay there then. She's like, mummy, you stopped playing. And so where am I going with this? So he was saying, people are going to look at you and go, you're overweight. And they will not want to go, no matter what they say, to someone who's got a belly, because they're thinking exercise. And I was like, yeah, but qigong's a bit different. It's about moving the body, it's about moving the energy, and it's about shifting that. And he's like, yes, however, and I thought, maybe he's right about this in some regards, because so if you look at it in terms that if you're in alignment, then your body would be in alignment, therefore the weight naturally comes off, and it does with me too. However, there are times, as I just said, when I feel like this energy naturally gathers around here and I put weight on. And I was looking back at some of the videos, and the self-doubt was coming up, and obviously the ego was coming out, and I'm like, because most of the time I'm like, I don't really give a I've got a bit of a belly or not. That's their issue. What you see, what you get. If you don't like me, tough. I don't give a monkeys. And I thought, do I really? Then the Leo rising comes out and goes, yes, but you know how you're seen and what he was saying. And we're back. There we go. I even dropped the book in while I was waiting for it to come back. I'm just going to find what Denise Lynn says about this card as well. I thought I would share. It doesn't give the pages. So it paused. And I thought I'll share that as well. I wanted to ask, I was saying before it cut out, how do you feel about this? Do you feel like you want a super skinny person if you are going to something like a qigong class? Does that resonate with you? Even if it's subconsciously, that you feel that if they're skinny, they must have it all together. They must be energetically aligned. Is that what goes through your head? Maybe I'm just here to pose that question to people. Because I've been to lovely spiritual teachers and they are not skinny. And they are the most amazing energy I've ever heard. In fact, sometimes, oh, what are you doing, Mummy? What are you doing? Yeah, I know, I'm trying to find a page, but I've just found it. There we go. So maybe I'm just meant to pose that question to get you to question whether you do, as it was being put to me. Come on, you little madam. Chase your big brother. It's like, Mum, you've stopped. Having a kitten in the house and birthing energy around me like newborn. We've also got a new baby and my neighbour's got a baby toddler next door. So it's like there's this young energy again, this growth of birth around me as well. So like this whole giving birth. And I do feel like humanity is giving birth to a whole way of being. So I do feel that's relevant. And how we birth our ideas, how we might be burping them up, and ego-wise, or how we whether we are succinctly aligning, focusing our energy and bringing beautiful things to people, giving them options. So this card, it's time to launch a new project. Interesting enough, I am, but I'm not going to tell you about that because that's not why I'm here. The ideas that have been gestating within you, and I've got loads now. I want the world to have them ready to manifest. So with attentive care and feeding, miracles can abound. The universe wants you to know perhaps there is a quality, a project or a talent within you that wants to be born. You have been nurturing and caring for it, and this is the perfect moment to share it with the world. Release it and let it soar. Give birth to your hopes and dreams. Timing is everything, and the time is now for all of us, me included. Hence why I'm starting to share more on my personal page, where I would have only done this on Instagram, on YouTube, and I thought, actually, probably the amount of people that are friends and family on here from people I knew at school is probably a small amount to the people that I've met within the communities. My community is like, and I don't mean this as a slur, because I am personally very lucky that some of my friends and families are from amazing groups, light worker groups, energy worker groups, and I really feel blessed to be in so many. And a lot of them are on here. And I thought, a lot of the time I speak to this minority thinking they're going to think I'm nuts when I start light language, what I call love language flowing. And even though I know I would have seen someone like that as, God, she must be making it up, or she's got to be crazy. 5 years ago, that would have been me judging. But the ego has died completely and had to be set fire to those fears, which ego's there for protection. And obviously with my own personal journey and my mother's, her jelly one, there was definitely kind of raw wounds about that. I've had to get past that and not care. and trust that actually, in speaking my truth, whether people resonate with me or not is fine. If they don't resonate, they're going to switch off, and that's no slur on me. It just means it's not relevant to them. And I say at the beginning of most of my YouTube videos, if this resonates, great. If it doesn't, discount it. It's what's right for you at the time. There might be something that triggers you, that takes you on a whole journey that you were meant to go on. So everything in divine timing, and that's kind of what it's saying, like everything, this is the time. So the question to ask yourself, is there anything I've been putting off that I need to birth in my life? And that's not just children, that's projects, that's relationships, that's things you've been desiring to do maybe since you were a kid and you've not yet done. Is there something I've put off forth that I've regret, something you've put out there you don't really want out there, or something that you haven't acknowledged? Am I ready to birth a new way of expressing myself in the world? How we communicate, air, Aquarius energy, Gemini energy, between energy. This is the air, this is frequency, this is sound, this is Mercury, whatever. Communication of all sorts is shifting, it's evolving. If you think about AI, if you think about technologies, I mean, even the fact that I am videoing in my garden here, and then someone across the world in a different time zone can be viewing me simultaneously, would have been nuts. From the telegraph tapping things, that was kind of like an advancement. We're going to jump, supposed to be, however vast we've come in the last 100 odd years, we're going to be jumping further than we have in the last 5,000 years in the next 100 years. So there's a lot, that's a lot beyond what we can compare. And I can see it when I geek out on neuroscience and how that relates to like the things that you might call psychic, or more esoteric, or what my dad would call pseudoscience, now has lots of peer-reviewed science to back it up. So, and I've just read, and healing the past of our understanding, well, hang on, some words. In healing the past of our understanding through the lens of new technologies, through the lens of new understandings, as we breathe the new concepts, as we allow new understandings to open, expand our mind, our state of being, it gives you a gift of seeing from different perspectives. And then you can view those perspectives on different things in your life, whether it's your job, whether it's the finance is in our life, our politics in our life, whether it's our religions, whether it's our health, our wealth, all of that. As we are open to the highest aspect of ourself, by self I don't mean selfishness, I mean the being in its sovereign self. That means it's aligned with its thoughts, its heart-centered compassion, and the body, and they all come into a line. So how do I link this back to what I was saying about the whole how we're seen, how we're perceived by other people, and why I put that to you was because I was questioning it, because my husband had brought up the question, well, if you're not super skinny, then people are not going to take you seriously as an exercise coach. And I thought, how do I see myself then? Obviously I don't see myself as an exercise coach. Qigong is an exercise. It's what we call not HIIT, but LIST, low intensity steady state. So it works nicely with things like HIIT, which is high intensity interval training, and this is steady states, meaning that you move the body, like exercises like yoga and more of those. But you can combine yoga with Qigong. You can, because a lot of yoga is done on the floor. A lot of Qigong seems to be done standing up, but both of them are interchangeable. There is Qigong that you do on the floor, and I'm sure there's standing positions within yoga and movement flows, etc., like we have in Qigong. Tai Chi is like a branch of Qigong, which is kind of geared towards more martial arts, and obviously that's more exercise based and movement based. And then you've got the more spiritual side of Qigong, which I resonated with with, I suppose I do see myself as a meditation teacher, or someone that is reminding you how to reset your nervous system and how you can do that. So this is what I wanted to finish with. I feel everyone should know this qigong technique, and basically a lot of qigong movements are like the brocades, for example. There's different forms, and they follow different traditions and different master lines and stuff. Is why it takes so long. There's over 300 different styles. So I'm learning different, and still, as I say, still learning, still will always be learning. And the more you learn, the more you realise that there is to learn, like everything in life, I believe. You may or may not agree. So this stimulates like the animals. So a lot of these brocades were watching what the animals did, the anime, which means the movement. The animals would move in certain ways, and they have regulating their nervous systems. You see a dog, you might see your dog do this if you're scared, and shake. You see deers caught in the headlight, they do this shake. And most importantly, the one that's generally, when people are talking about this, that they use as an example, or I've seen people using as an example before, is a gazelle when it's been taken down by a lion but not necessarily killed, and it shakes when it's been it sort of plays dead, and then maybe the lion's gone off for whatever reason, it's not been eaten, because it stops, like froze, fight or flight, same in a human, and then it shakes to reset the nervous system. She's looking at herself and moving the thing. So we're going to just do that, and I'm going to invite you to do this with me, and I invite you to do this anytime you need to do this. And if you do it for 3 minutes, you reset your nervous system. We're not going to do it for 3 minutes now. I just want to let you see it. Though when I first started doing this on YouTube, I realised my YouTube following jumped up because there was a load of blokes perving out there. If that's you on here, then this is not the place to be, is what I normally say. And because I'll probably put this up on YouTube as well. So I'm going to do it this way. You just want to, it's that dip again. When I'm standing out here, it's not great. So we just start with shaking the hands, the wrists, the arms, and if you lift off the heels, so I go up on tiptoes, just gently bounce, and you literally, that's it, you shake, and you can sing shake it off, or you can put music on, whatever you want, dancing around, is going to do the same thing. It's lifting the energy of that tension that's things and letting it go. It's kinetically shifting that, transferring it, transforming it into the kinetic, the movement. So you're shifting that tension that's in the body, that's in the cells, and releasing it. And it resets the sympathetic nervous system. That's it. Really, really simple. I like to do it with a little bit of a twist when I'm doing it in class, because by moving and twisting, we gently massaging all the internal organs here, and this is where all those emotions get stuck, get trapped, and it helps us with releasing. So you can shake, and the other one as well, it's been kind of repackaged in more modern terms in psychology in something called the havening technique, which I spoke about in the transformational challenge that I did on YouTube and in with my members. So just shifting. And you might notice that sometimes, like, you see people when they're really emotional, they're rocking. It's why we do that. We naturally, instinctively do these things, and we shake when we're cold. When we're cold is a sign of our energy being low. We want to move, we want the heat back in, we want the movement, the flow to be flowing through the body on the physical, and mentally moving so that the thoughts aren't stuck and the electrics are all moving around, but also the emotions. So literally just shaking with a little twist for 3 minutes will help you in any moment that you feel stress, overwhelm, or just like you can't, I mean, you can go off if you've not got braces on, they won't think you're doing something untoward, but you can go off in the bathroom, restroom, and just in the cubicle, just shake. And there's other, I mean, there's a therapy technique, I can't remember the name of it, where you literally do that. I think attention. Serena helped me out. My best friend was the one that informed me about this. Trauma informed, they use it for trauma because it literally does help people to, I can't remember the names of that one because it's called something different. It's the same thing, but it's called something, and you literally lay down and do it is the only difference. So, and that's qigong, one movement. It's called shaking the tree in qigong, and it's the one movement, whether you ever do qigong ever in your life, that I think you should know. Anyway, love and blessings. Thank you for being here, for listening. Let me know in the comments if this resonates with you, if it feels relevant. And the question, what are your views on this? Is it something you think that actually you should be skinny if you are doing something that relates to movement of the body, to be taken seriously? Do you think that that's how the world sees it, but maybe we shouldn't be seeing it that way? And what are you birthing? If you feel comfortable, as this is about, we're coming up to the new moon, we're releasing and letting go, let go of your fears about it coming into the world. What are you excited about? Let me know in the comments below, because by writing it down, it's not about me and stuff, it's about you putting focused thought in me asking you the question. For starters, it's like one of the things I've been learning with all the courses, I do the therapy courses to help clients. You can ask someone a question. They don't have to answer you, but in asking them the question, they have to answer it to themselves. So that's the whole point. And in writing it down, you take it to the next level because you focus that thought into being for manifestation, which is why all of the people that do all that sort of moon stuff, they always say, put it in the comments, what is it you're working on? It's why, it's to get you to focus on what it is. And you don't have to do it on my things. Write it down for you, write it on a piece of paper, write it in your journal. So I was thinking, should I be sharing what I am birthing? Well, for the last few years, I think they're already on my Instagram. No, links in bio on the Instagram. Possibly there'll be links to it on my YouTube, on the About Me side, for all of that, and on possibly on Eventbrite, I don't know. On my Etsy, I've certainly had them available as downloads for a while, and I did make them when it was locked down, prior to lockdown, when I was doing workshops, vision board workshops. I had these packs that I've been working on that I want to birth, and some other little creative things, being obviously that I come from a creative, artistic background. And I'm so excited about some of the stuff now that it's starting to move forward, and I can feel the momentum. I can feel that on the edge, and it's been like that for a while. And everyone's like, I kept asking, why has it not happened? But it needed to align with my personal values. So I wanted it to be sustainable. I wanted it to be vegan friendly. And there are stuff out there, but none of it seemed to sit. And I found a few companies now, UK based as well. And then other ones that are more for international. I wanted things to be set up so that when I present it to you guys, that it's there. So yeah, it's being birthed, shall we say, along with the other things that I've been systematically doing, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. And I didn't realise that that's a kind of an ADHD thing, apparently. So rather than doing one thing and just running with it, and this is what I kept thinking, right, let's pick that one thing and run with it. But I couldn't do that. I just had to keep, no, the energy for that is there right now, I'm going to do that. The energy for this right there is there, and just doing that. And I've been doing that for a while. So it may all of a sudden feel like, oh my God, there's all this stuff she's done. I haven't. It's been like a long time I've been working on these things, these little creative projects of mine. So watch this space about that. And yeah, hopefully I will keep pushing, keep trusting for myself, as well as I tell you guys to go with what feels right, go with your gut, listen to what you're being called to do. to speak about, to share. And yeah, sometimes it relates, sometimes it doesn't. I get excited about the food stuff, and people, one person, she said, I thought you did like nutrition and stuff. I was like, no. However, the energy of certain foods I do get a bit geeky about, and I'm certainly a big Mediterranean fan. So yeah, anyway, I'm rambling now, so that's the point to go. Love and blessings. Thanks for watching, and as I said, let me know in the comments below if you got this. What do they say at this thing is, oh, if you've watched this far, so I know you've got to here, write down time, not as in TIME, but TY, as in the plant time, because I feel it's time is relevant, as in not just the herb, but the herbs, the frequency of the plants in our life, the frequency of the things that are growing around us, and our concept and understanding of time is shifting. So yeah, and taking it back to what the card was, it's giving birth, and it too is giving birth to the world that we want to be in. Focus on what you want to see, not what you see, what you would like to see. And as I say in our monthly global meditations for peace, see that in your mind's eye and bring it into being by being that yourself. So love, blessings, love and light, however you, love and shadow actually, because even that now is becoming a concept that's a bit outdated. Centered heart to you from me. Thank you.